If you have a friend or you met somebody who one day seems really interested in you, hanging on the edge of everything you say, asking intelligent questions, and really making you feel seen and understood and like they really want to know you well, and then the next time you run into them, they're distant, they barely make eye contact, they might mumble a hello and then just move on like you didn't even exist. You may have met an INFJ who's going through a hot and cold shift. So let's talk about what that is. And if you are an INFJ and you experience this and you maybe don't know why you do this, why some days you feel like really energetic and really engaged with people and other times you're just like, I just can't. We're gonna talk about that too. We're gonna talk about why we do this, what's happening inside us, and how our friends and family and the people we care about can manage this and how we can manage with them. So what does this hot cold shift look like? To start off with, the hot side, the warm side for an INFJ can almost be like the manic phase of somebody with bipolar, in that, I mean, not to that extreme, but we feel like we really want to engage. We're excited to see somebody. We probably are more touchy, even for me personally, that's like, oh, this is what, oh, I want to hug you. I feel really comfortable getting in contact with people and emotionally engaging with them and wanting to find out like what's going on with them, asking them deep questions, really wanting to know how they're feeling. Not just, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. No, like really, how are you? I really want to know. That's the hot phase. The cold phase is exactly the opposite, when I'll be like, somebody goes, oh, how are you? And they go, oh, I'm fine. And I register, they're not fine, there's something going on. But there's another part of my brain going, I just can't. I don't have the energy for this right now. And okay, cool, good to hear you're fine, and off I go. From the outside, it can be really confusing because you think this person really likes you, and then suddenly nothing, like you barely even register, and you're like, well, what happened? Did I do something wrong? Did I hurt their feelings? Did I offend them in some way? I don't understand what's going on. One, I'm gonna tell you it's not you, but more than likely it's not you, especially if they're an INFJ. First off, you need to understand that an INFJ is an introvert and they're intuitive. These two things go hand in hand into causing this type of behavior. As an introvert, we put a lot of our emotional and intellectual energy inward. This means that we think about things very deeply. For example, if somebody tells you, I'm fine, we're hearing the words, we're looking at their body language, we're putting it in context of what we know about them as a person, their personal life, their background, interactions we've had, things they've told us. We're analyzing all of that to determine whether or not they are in fact fine, or whether they're just brushing off something while they're going through a deeper emotional issue. That is the intuitive side of us, and with the introversion, we take that level of nuance to pretty much everything we think about. When we're deciding what to eat for lunch, we're looking at the menu, we're thinking about our diet preferences, our taste preferences, our experience of this place before, somebody else told us about wherever they had, all these other things. They're all figuring into our decision making. We are very deep thinkers on every possible subject, which takes a lot of energy. When you combine that with intuitiveness, which means we're taking in a huge amount of information. Intuitive means that we're absorbing a lot of sensory data from all five of our senses, people's emotions, their body language, their tonality, the loudness or quietness of the room, the music that's playing, the conversation that's going on at the table next to us, and honking horn outside, and like every bit of information that you can think of to take into our senses, we're taking in more of it than the average person. That's part of being intuitive. And then we're processing it and we're figuring it into our decision making. That again takes an enormous amount of energy. Quick interruption here. If you're enjoying this video, you're finding it useful, a like and subscribe would be really appreciated. It helps grow this channel and get this news out, this message out to more people like us and people who love people like us. Now back to the video. Sometimes we just get drained. We only have so much energy to burn, and we just get drained. Giving that energy back to somebody, being that deep empath and like really trying to connect with somebody becomes very difficult for us. Because again, we want to do that deep connection on a deep level. We want to be really paying attention to them and giving our full focus and our full attention, which takes more energy. And sometimes we just don't have it. So this type of hot and cold is really just about energy conservation. Unfortunately for us, it isn't always that predictable. If you have a highly structured life, you might be able to create times where you can recharge and get that energy back so that you can be fully present with your friends. But a lot of times life just lives, and you don't have that. So you have to go to work and you have to interact with a bunch of people and you have to drive and be in traffic, and all these things are overstimulating and they drain us. So by the time we get home to the people that are family, the people we want to love and spend time with, we don't have the energy for them. These are the people we want to spend time with, but we're just so drained from everything else, we just don't have the energy. And we'll talk about dealing with that in a bit. But that's really what's going on. And other times, sometimes we get time to recharge alone and to do our own things and get into our hobbies, or that really gets us excited and gets us in that flow state, and we can just engage in it and just do it. And then like hours pass by, we're like, oh wow, I want to go out and see people. Like I want to talk to that so-and-so. Like, oh, I got excited about this idea. I want to tell that one person. Then we have all that energy, and then we can be really engaged with the people we're with. If we can build that time in to help us recharge, that can be very helpful. But sometimes it's just random and we can't predict it, we can't control it. So if you're dealing with somebody like that, if you are not an INFJ, but you know someone who is, and your experiences, please understand it is not personal. It is just us trying to conserve our emotional energy as best we can. Now, if you're someone who has an INFJ in your life who does this, it can be very confusing. And it's something can be confusing to an INFJ who doesn't understand why they're doing it, what's going on with them. They just know sometimes they feel drained and sometimes they don't. And I personally would be times where I feel guilty because I know someone's excited to see me and I just have a hard time mustering the energy to be as excited back. The first thing to do is to really find out why. Did you do something to upset them? Did something happen that you're unaware of that is emotionally draining to them? One of the key things is communication, and it goes from both sides. As an INFJ, I found it be very powerful and helpful to my circle of friends to let them know that's what's going on. When I show up and I'm like, hey, I'm just really not feeling it right now. If I have extroverted friends, they want to go to extroverted events. They want to go to bars and concerts and all these things, and where there's lots of people, lots of energy, lots of excitement. They really enjoy that. I enjoy that sometimes, but I might make a plan to do something like that and then be like, yeah, I'm not feeling that. I can't do that today because for whatever reason, I am drained. I'm gonna be cold, I'm not gonna be warm. And that's gonna actually negatively impact their experience too, because they care about me and we're gonna have this big exciting event and they're gonna be like, why aren't you having fun? Like what's going on? I've explained this to my friends, and once they understand what's going on, I'll say, look, I'll make a plan with you, and it's a group of you, so if I'm not there, it's fine. I'll let you know if I'm not able to at that time. By setting that boundary, setting that clear expectation up front, it really helps to manage that with my friends. A lot of times for me, that works really well, saying, hey, look, I'm sorry, I can't go to this concert, I just don't have the energy. Let's go get coffee or brunch, just you and me, at another time. And they're all in, they love it. So communicating those expectations and your personal needs and setting boundaries, but then also making accommodations so that, they understand what's going on and that you are actually trying to give them your best. Now, if you are an INFJ and this is something you're experiencing, especially if you're new to understanding this, if you're just recently discovered you're an INFJ and are discovering what that means, I remember what that is like because I went through that a few years ago, and it kind of lit up this light bulb in my head. Oh, wow, that's why I do these things. Now it's time to become aware. Become aware of when you're feeling down, when you're feeling drained. One of the things that we often do is if we're at an event or party or something really extroverted, we'll find a quiet space on our own. We'll maybe hide in the bathroom or go find a quiet corner to sit in, maybe talk to one person or go outside and be by ourselves for a while. We might use things like, oh, I'm gonna go have a smoke. If you smoke, rethink that. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go have a smoke just as an excuse to get outside and get away from people. Once you become more confident about who you are and why you're doing this, it is perfectly acceptable for you to excuse yourself from an event early. To say, hey, thank you for inviting me. I had a great time. I'm feeling really kind of drained right now, so I'm gonna say goodnight. Do that. Now, if you made an agreement to do something that you know is gonna be really draining and they are counting on you to be there, like you're part of the organization, you're part of the production, part of the presentation, whatever it is, they need you to be there, and then you need to build that in. You need to say, I'm going to be at this event, I'm going to be doing these things, I need to be engaged. So I need to build in time ahead of time to recharge, to make sure my battery is fully charged, and I can do that. And what is it you need to do to recharge? Well, that's up to you to decide. But you probably have a pretty good idea right now how you like to recharge. If you're an introvert, INFJ, it's probably gonna be alone. If you're intuitive, again, it's probably gonna be alone because you don't want all that extra stimulus. A lot of intuitive people particularly do not like loud noises, loud spaces. Like for a highly intuitive person, being in silence can be really relaxing. Same thing, meditating, maybe getting a massage, taking a nice long bath or shower, reading a favorite book, watching a favorite movie, whatever it is that you need to do, go for a walk. I love going for a walk in the morning and with no headphones, nothing, just listening to the birds. So that's one way I can recharge. To give you an example, I spent years as a bartender and in very loud environments, lots of hustle and bustle and people, calling for orders and lots of stuff going on that I have to do. And that would typically mean that on my days off, I did not want to go out because my work life was so draining. Now, at other times in my life when I worked in construction as a cabinet maker and I spent literally sometimes weeks at a time alone in my workshop working on a project, on my off time, I want to go out. I want to be around people. I want to get to that excitement and that hustle and bustle and to have conversations and have those interactions, go to those shows. You really need to look at your life and what are your obligations and whether they're draining you or they're recharging you, and adjust the optional parts appropriately. So that's my take as an INFJ on what the hot and cold shift is about. What we're thinking, what we're feeling, and it has nothing to do with us not liking somebody or being mad at somebody. We just don't have the energy sometimes. And then other times we have lots of energy and we want to do that. If you're not an INFJ and you have an INFJ in your life, open that line of communication. Ask them, what's this about? Did I upset you or are you just drained? And if you are drained, what can I do to help? And if what they say is, hey, just give me some time alone. Let's stay in tonight. Or maybe, postpone our date or our plans or whatever they are. And be open to that because that's what they need from you, is that caring. As an INFJ, it is your obligation to see to your own needs and setting boundaries and expectations with the people around you. So you need to be active in communicating that. Don't wait for them to ask you what's going on. Over communicate, tell them what's going on, explain it until they understand it. And one day you'll just have that conversation where you made plans with somebody, you call them up and say, hey, and they're like, it's cool. I already know. I saw you had a really busy week and I figured you're gonna need to recharge. So I'll see you tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Those are the best friends. That's when we're just like, you understand me. It feels amazing. But you don't get there unless you open that line of communication. On either side of this equation, whether you're the INFJ or someone who loves and cares about an INFJ, communication is key. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you're an INFJ who's struggling with these kinds of things and you want some help, there's a link down below where you can click to book a one-on-one consultation with me to see if some serious in-depth coaching would be a good fit for you. And if you have just like one question you really want answered, there's another link to my Wizio page where you can send me that question and I'll send you a personalized one-on-one video telling you how I think that you should best handle that. Click the link down below, book your consultation, and I'll talk to you soon. Quick interruption here. If you're enjoying this video, you're finding it useful, a like and subscribe would be really appreciated. It helps grow this channel and get this message out to more people like us and people who love people like us. Now back to the video.